Welcome, everybody, to this week's magnificent and very prestigious NIM community call. This is the 26th of May, and this is a special community call in more ways than I can count. So first of all, I have significantly more people with me in the room right now than normally. So I have a large chunk of Pineapple Proxy present in this location here in Prague. We're getting ready for our NIM and Pineapple meetup. So I have with me Hux, who you already know, a lot of Pineapple Proxy people with me on the call. Who I will introduce, though, is Pawnflake, our good friend, who's the actual first participant of the NIM Delegators Program, which this community call is dedicated to. How is it going, sir?
Yeah, very good. Excited. Looking forward to it.
Same here. And one person who I'm not sure whether they joined yet or not, but we're still waiting for Wunderbear to join this call, who's going to be our second mentor for the Delegators Program. First mentor is sitting right here with me. Him I also going to introduce.
Hey,
Probably CGI's voice is, even though it was distorted in that video we produced, it's probably like familiar to at least some of you. And with that, I think before we get into some Delegators Program talk, let's go through our quick news roundup as usual. So, and also, by the way, as usual, if you have any questions throughout the call, you can leave it on the Shipyard Academy Lectures chat, and we're going to be keeping an eye on that and answering your questions as we go along. With that, let's get into the news roundup. So I will start with the surveys, with a big thanks to everybody who filled out our recent two surveys. We published, as many of you know, our vibe check survey and our people survey over the past few weeks, and we got almost 500 replies in total, which is absolutely huge. So thank you everyone for filling it out. Now we have the titanic task of actually distributing the promised merch, which is going to be, distributing merch to 500 people. It's going to be a bit difficult, so please be patient while we're doing that. But it is happening soon. And what else is happening also is that we're going to be sharing some tidbits of findings and conclusions that we draw from the survey data. So if I wanted to be cheesy, I would have said the work actually is not done; it's just began or something like that. But I'm not cheesy, so I don't say that. So moving on to the next news item, which is which actually we've already mentioned. So the NIM Delegations Program. The submissions have closed on the 15th of May, so we've started reaching out to people who we're going to be interviewing. These are going to be very quick interviews, so 15 minutes tops, just a quick face check on your motivation, and just basically a quick meet and greet. And we are hoping to finish that before the end of next week, and by the week after we can actually kick off the Delegators Program, which is super exciting. And the next news item, I'm handing over to Danny.
The next news item is, ladies and gentlemen, that there's a new blog post about NIM Connect and then green campaign running. The blog post title is How to Privacy Enhance Your Apps and Wallets Using NIM Connect. And also there's the new green campaign. There's a chance to win 10,000 NIM tokens if you download NIM Connect and share this effort.
Thank you. So if you're one of those people who already know NIM Connect but haven't been playing with it for quite some time, make sure to check it out again because quite a few new things have been added over the past few months. For example, you can now manually select your service provider and gateway, which is pretty cool. And also Monero support was added, so you can now privacy protect your Monero, like on the network level, also your Monero transactions. Just make sure to check it out again. And also you get a chance of winning some NIM tokens in the process. Moving on to the ambassador program. So our good friend Mikola, who's our ambassador program manager, left me with a quick update. So the ambassador program kicked off, as he shared during the community call that we had with him about this topic. It is going to be a staged process. So basically, we onboarded the first few ambassadors from Russia, and the Spanish-speaking person from the Netherlands, and also an ambassador from Nigeria, and also one from China. And right now, I think we have in total 4 ambassadors collaborating with us. That's all there is going to be for this first round, but as it was shared previously, it is going to be scaled up as we go. So if you applied and were not selected, don't be sad. You may actually be selected later on. We'll keep you posted about that.
The next item, which I have on my news roundup, is that there is a fantastic research paper published on eCash by the NIMS research team. And the eCash concept was initially introduced by David Chong, but this is something very, very new, and please do check it out. I'm going to copy the Twitter link for this research paper, which is titled Compact and Divisible eCash with Threshold Issuance. And it has been also accepted to the PET Symposium 2023, which I don't know what a PET Symposium is. Do you know?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I'm not a big scientist.
sounds very sciencey. Ah, it's here.
While Daniel Googles that, it's also worth mentioning that I had a long time ago, I think last summer, I had Alfredo Real, our cryptographer, on the NIM community call. And he spoke quite extensively on that call about anonymous eCash, also offline eCash. So if you're interested in that topic, then make sure to give that community call a listen. And maybe Nick, if you could find a link to the recording on YouTube, it would be beautiful.
In the meantime, it turned out that the PET abbreviation stands for Privacy Enhancing Technology Symposium, so probably the highest research playground, and it just happened in Lausanne, in Switzerland, and online this year.
Also, we dropped a new blog post about digital integrity, disrupting the personal data economy. A link to it will be shared in the chat. Make sure to check it out. And once again, I can point back to one of the earlier community calls we did with Alexei, who's one of the big champions on digital integrity. Actually, it's not an exaggeration to say that the man wrote the book on digital integrity because he actually wrote a book about it. So if you want further information on his take on digital integrity and its importance and also its relation to privacy, then make sure to give that one a listen. This blog post is an homage to the GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, which just turned 5 years old. And depending on how you feel about GDPR and the cookie pop-ups, you may be happy or not so happy about that. In my opinion, GDPR was kind of like a step in the right direction, but not an adequate one. But make sure to read the blog post for further information on that. Yeah.
There's also the released recording of masterclass at Web Summit Rio, and it's uploaded on the NIM YouTube channel, if I see it well, which titled Privacy in the Age of AI, NIM and Signal Exclusive Masterclass. It was Jaya, Meredith, and Chelsea.
Yes.
With someone else, or was it three of them?
It was the three of them. Jaya, so on the previous community call that happened 2 weeks ago, we spoke about this event extensively, and also Meredith. I feel like I'm shilling community calls too much during this one. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, we talked about this masterclass. It was a pretty interesting event, and also I promised the recordings during that call, so here it is. Quality is, I think, not overly great, but you can make out everything, and it was an incredibly interesting conversation. So make sure to give that a listen. And now I'm giving over the microphone, which is actually my laptop, to Daniel, to quickly summarize our events that we've been to.
There has been a lot of cool events. As the spring and summer is here, there has been a number of events happening in the past where were present. One of the most notable one amongst these was ETH-DEM, the Ethereum conference in Amsterdam, where Harry had been to the stage to reveal exciting updates in addition to Nicola and Yekaterina, who took part in the hackathon. Harry announced the first completed stages of NIM's collaboration with ChainSafe, the lib P2P module for the NIM mixnet, which is super exciting. Do check it out in details if you're using the Ethereum chain and how NIM can help you preserve your privacy if you're a validator and how does that work on the tech level. There was also a wonderful opening panel hosted by NIM 3 days ago in Brussels at the CPDP, sorry, I'm a bit CPDP, which is the EU's leading interdisciplinary forum for legal, regulatory, and academic debates on technological development and digital society. The topic was cloud money, data privacy, and sovereignty. What is at stake and what can be done? And on the panel was present Jaya, who's the CSO of NIM, Brett Scott, author of Cloud Money, Andres Arauz, who's the former head of Central Bank of Ecuador, and also Anya Pietrovska from the head of research at NIM.
Yes, also co-founder.
To apologize, yes. You know this better. Thank you for correcting me. Sorry, Anya, for listening to this.
I didn't correct you, I just added some additional detail.
Yeah, and also Alexis and Harry hosted together a session on NIM and digital integrity, showcasing how NIM goes beyond GDPR with practical examples from Switzerland. So this has been really an eventful kickoff of the CPDP. No, I know you're right.
You nailed it, friend.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Harry was going above and beyond this week to represent NIM across all digital channels because he also did a roundtable Ask Anything with Finance Labs the day after this roundtable. The recording is available on Twitter Spaces, where the discussion was revolving around the synergies between AI and blockchain. And other speakers included Dragonfly, Republic, Certic, and it was co-hosted by Web3 Port Labs. And if this wouldn't be enough, Harry is also presenting today at CLEA in Urban Engage University, Brussels, about with the title Revolutionary Guide to the Digital, the Political Philosophy of Bernard Stiegler Revisited. Whew, that was a lot of past events. Thank you for letting me check all these.
But there are also some upcoming events for you, so you can also go through those if you want.
Yeah,
Or
no worries, no worries. My mouth is going better now, so if we continue. So there are two upcoming events. One of it is the Alephium Tech Talk 10 with Alexis, where he's gonna talk about many interesting things. Alephium is a layer one blockchain again, but also based in Neuchâtel. So it's a neighbor startup basically from Switzerland. Check it out. It's available on the Telegram channels. I think on Twitter too. The link for this. There's also going to be a Gateway conference, which is a Cosmos conference between the 3rd and 5th of June. Where also Harry will be delivering a keynote on privacy and the new Nix IBC blockchain and the mixnet. So and the talk is going to be about how NIM will depermission its IBC-enabled Cosmos WASM blockchain to allow private transactions and anonymous credentials. And this is a topic what everybody is looking forward to hear, I think, in more details, because depermissioning Nix has been going around since a while in the community. So we do definitely look forward to this to happen. And I think that was it for the future events.
You're a hero, absolutely. Hopefully everybody who has been bored with my voice on all of these community calls is really happy to hear me get help with the news roundup for this one. I forgot to mention that all of the things that we talked about during this news roundup, links to them you can find in the chat of the Shipyard Academy Lecture voice channel. So if you're further interested in anything that was mentioned, then make sure to check those links out. And with that, let's move on to the meat and potatoes of today's conversation, which is the Delegators Program. Unfortunately, from what I understand, our mentor Wunderbear is not here with us today. I'm not sure what happened. I can't reach him. So I only have one, but very important mentor with me today. So that would be Sven. How is it going, friend?
Fine. Glad to be here.
Before I ask a few questions from Sven, I wanted to go through real quick just the details of the Delegators Program. So this program was launched. There are multiple goals that we have with this program. So one of the important aims from the perspective of the mixnet was to decentralize it even further. This round of the Delegators Program will only see participants from underrepresented parts of the world. So not, for example, Germany or the United States, where we have already a large number of mixed nodes. So that's the geographical decentralization. But also there's additional aim in terms of decentralization of VPS decentralization. So as you know, it's a pretty big issue in the crypto space in general. A lot of nodes of a lot of projects are running on just a handful of VPS providers. So to avoid that, for resiliency, it's very important for any project to incentivize either locally run nodes or VPS providers that are not as popular and they don't take up a big share of the existing nodes. That's one of the aims. And the other aim is a question that we got very often from our mixed node operators. We have almost 500 of them. This is the largest mixnet in the world, after all. One of the questions that we got often was, how do you bridge the gap between becoming profitable and starting your mixed node? So there's this catch-22 situation. If you start up a mixed node, delegators are incentivized to delegate their tokens to operators who already have some delegations on their node, because that's how you make delegators rewards. But if you don't get delegations before because you don't have delegations, then you will never get delegations. So this is also an attempt on our part to basically bridge this gap and provide treasury delegations to mixed nodes so that they can get into the active set fairly often. So these are the primary objectives of the Delegators Program. But also, importantly, we got some of our true community OGs who have been with us, I'm looking at Sven, by the way, who's sitting right next to me, who have been with us from the get-go to share their best practices and help out any new node operators who are going to be participating in this program with, how to monitor, how to set up nodes, and how to make sure that they perform well and have decent parameters and stats. So on that note, that was a really long summary. Let me introduce you guys to cgi-bin, aka Serbs Marine, who's sitting with me here in Prague. How's it going, sir?
Fine. Very glad to join the mentoring things for the Delegators Program.
Why did you say yes when I asked you to?
Yeah, because that's
Surprising move.
No, it's not surprisingly at all, because at Notrust Verify we like the stat and the data visualization, and then when we draw the map and the statistics about node and node decentralization, we immediately see that a lot of nodes running in Europe. If we want to people use the mixnet right, we need some decentralization. So we need to help people. So for us, it was directly a yes to NIM, because we need it. We need this.
Yeah, definitely.
We need to help.
And what are your plans for the first cohort of Delegators Program participants?
Yeah, it would be like to check the ambience, to check how people are, the question they will be, and then share the best practice to get the delegators to come at your node to get no. So one of the first advice I will give is like participate in the community, be in the chat, help new people to onboard. It will help you to have some new delegation.
Exactly. And how did you get delegations? Did you do the same thing?
I think we did the same thing because we started and we help people, not only people to onboard, but new mix node to come and new operators to operate their mix node. We, with No Trust Verify, running a small community of operators in French, in the French part of the NIM community.
And then for those who may not have seen your introduction video, which I think is super cool, and in that video, CGI has a mad supervillain vibe with his face covered out and also his voice distorted. Hopefully everybody liked that general vibe. For those who haven't seen that video or someone who has been living under a rock and hasn't met you before on our chats, what do you guys do? So what does No Trust Verify do? And what kind of stuff have you brought to the project so far?
With No Trust Verify, we start with NIM. So when NIM goes in the mainnet, we almost immediately start No Trust Verify by running a mix node. And then so far we right now developing our own NIM. So playing with the mixnet, with the SDK and everything, because for us it could be the first solution or the base to develop privacy-driven application on the mixnet. So running Mixnode is the first thing to do, and then playing with the mixnet. So this is what we are doing right now.
Where do you see the mixnet going on like in the future, in a few years?
In a few years, people will use the mixnet without even noticing they're using the mixnet. It will be the main goal for us and for people to just use and don't ask question or don't ask what's underlying because they have the privacy. Privacy will be normal again.
Privacy is normal, privacy is the default. That's beautiful. Actually, I just noticed that Daniel, my co-conspirator from NIM, head of growth for Latin America, is also with us on this call. So, hey Daniel, how's it going?
Hello, good morning, everyone.
I didn't know that you were going to be able to join us. So maybe we could also go through the selection process. And you've already interviewed a few people. How did that go?
Well, we're making now the interviews to the people, like we made, I don't remember exactly the numbers, but about 15, I think so, because there is 43 people pre-selected. Remember that we will have 25 winners, but that's not a final decision. Probably will be some more because there is a lot of really nice proposals there and a lot of people that is really active in the community. So even if this process is mainly focused on decentralization of the servers, as a lot of people did the task, actually they did the task. So it's very difficult for us to make the selection. So we are reading, making interviews, talking, discussing, and we don't know still who will be the winner because it's very difficult. But get something in mind that is very important, and that is not only a question of select a place where putting the server because there is no other one. That's very important, but the other criteria is to be very active in the community. Also, there is some people making questions about how to increase their delegations. I see that in the chat the other day, and I see now in this chat also that Nick is sending this question. And I think both things are connected. Like the best way to attract delegations is to be active in the community. If people see you making tweets, making memes, helping with documentation, helping the newbies, making some dev, things like that, for sure are going to help you to get more delegations because people is looking for good community members to trust them and to put their tokens there, like a social reward also. So yeah, that's the point. And we are now in this point. We are reviewing all the proposals that we get, during past weeks, and we are analyzing them, and we still have no decision. It's very difficult, but this is. I think there is a lot of mixnet that really deserves this because also this is working. Actually, some people move their servers from Headner, and they look for a place in Africa, in South America, in Asia, where there were very few mixnets. So it's working the program. I'm very happy with this.
I'm very happy to be working with you on this. Otherwise, I would have gone insane with doing all the interviews alone. But yeah, so glad to have you on board, Daniel.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, well, and with that, actually, moving back to CGI, just one last question about the Delegators program. What kind of a mentor are you going to be? Are you going to be very hands-on or not so much?
I will be the best mentor I could, because for me it's very important to see NIM succeed. So I hope we will have some question and some people need help, because if not, mentoring is not useful. So I hope we will see some question and some people ask for help.
Yeah, and guys, do ask your questions in the chat if you have any, because it's a super open community call this time. So yeah.
Exactly, and I would assume that quite a few people who applied for the Delegators program are right now in the audience. So if you have any questions, then we're keeping an eye, not only for me, but also for our mentor over here. We're keeping an eye in the chat. I think with that, actually, let's also bring Mr. Pawnflake into the conversation. How is it going, sir? Is your internet working a bit better than earlier today?
Yeah, I scrambled for a data package, so I'm tethering from my mobile. So as long as you can hear me, everything's good.
That's dedication. So actually, Pawnflake is our first participant of the Delegators program, and that's for a reason that you're going to see at the end of this call with in a bit of a demo. But let's introduce you to our community a little bit. What have you been up to? What brings you to NIM? Why did you apply for the program, etc., etc., etc.
Okay, excuse the ramble. I was initially introduced to the project through another project that ran the original NIM testnets, which is Nodders, and a good friend from Nodders said, "Hey, have a look at NIM." I always found privacy to be too difficult to achieve, so I was kind of dubious as to, okay, let's have a look. Had a look, found it very interesting. And then it just so happened that Shipyard came out. So I went into Shipyard with an open mind, and yeah, got sucked into the to the ecosystem of NIM, and just went from stage to stage, more and more positive about NIM, learning things. I'd never used Linux before. I'd never done any of this stuff, and now it's sucked me in. I'm running Linux day to day. I'm started learning Bash. I'm based in Asia, so a big part of this is trying to bring NIM to Southeast Asia, because I have requirements for it, but everyone deserves the privacy, and I kind of want to. I align a lot with what CGI has said. I think everything he's said is amazing. He's been helpful long before the Delegators program, so I'm very excited that he is a mentor and really hope to get a lot from him.
Actually, just for a bit of context for the audience, Pawnflake is one of my big success stories with Shipyard Academy, because I successfully, or I should say we, at NIM with Shipyard Academy successfully indoctrinated this guy, and now he's a full-on NIMster. Did you make it to SailMaker, by the way?
Yeah, I went all the way through with the intention to get to go as far as physically possible, which I think we'll learn about in a bit.
All right. So, what kind of things have you identified? Because I know we've been talking ever since Shipyard Academy, and you've shown me some of the stuff that you've been working on. Knowing what you said earlier, you would probably not want me to share everything with all the details, but maybe just the problems that you identified and wanted to solve. What were those?
Yeah, so I wasn't particularly technical. So I went through Shipyard, and I felt like if somebody didn't do Shipyard that wasn't technical would see NIM and kind of just feel a bit, this is difficult to understand. So whilst going through NIM and learning all of the pain points that I was experiencing, I started to think like, okay, how can I solve this? Because I see for us to get mass adoption, there's a lot of things we have to solve as a community to onboard people, because there are technical parts to this whole thing. And so mainly I want to make it as accessible as possible to people that want to run infrastructure for NIM, and also people who want to use it as a service. My main priority for infrastructure is Southeast Asia, though, in regards to like users. But as far as delegators, well, delegators kind of users, but delegators, mixed node operators, gateway operators, I want to try and bridge the gap a bit between technical documentation and actually getting that stuff running. Yeah, so for me, I'm super excited because I think CGI can help me a lot, and I can bring what I learn from the mentors, Wonderbear as well, and sort of lay that out in a much easier way for the community.
Just to summarize, like because we've been talking about this a lot, but how many work hours do you have in this whole process, just to estimate?
Many, but I don't want to disclose obviously everything that I'm working on, but many hours have gone into the things I've done so far, and there is a lot coming to bridge that gap for users and mixnet operators of any hardware.
And what kind of infrastructure are you running right now? You're running multiple mixed nodes, right? And also gateways, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so currently I run 2 mixed nodes. One's in Indonesia, one's in Thailand, off of big tech, which shout out to ChatGPT, because finding a VPS provider in Southeast Asia is not easy. So thanks to ChatGPT for helping me with that one. Yeah, so I run those. I have a gateway, I have a net requester, but I'm doing some sort of testing at the moment to see how I can provide the best possible net requester and gateway, and also looking at trying to make it not restricted to like a specific app, as to say. I want to have a little play and see if I can kind of get it so that people can use Firefox over NIM Connect, but that's just one of the things that's going on, and there's many.
One of your projects that I'm most excited about actually is a different one. I think you know which one I mean, but I don't want to spoil the fun for. It's like it's your fun to spoil. So can you talk a little bit about that project as well?
Yeah, so one of the main pain points I had when I first came to the project before Shipyard, I was looking at NIM as like, okay, I can stake some NIM or delegate some NIM and earn some money, and just from that mindset, I ran into so many issues trying to select a mixed node to delegate to, and also the education of understanding the best place to delegate to. It's not always look for the highest delegated and just throw it there to get the best rewards. I think it's good to educate as well, because you can earn just as good rewards, but at the same time helping to decentralize the network. So building tools that help with that is one of my main things, and that will come in the form of an explorer, but with a lot more functionality than we currently have access to.
Yeah, so that was the project that I'm super duper looking forward to testing out once. I had some sneak peeks, ladies and gentlemen, and I can tell you that it's going to be pretty damn amazing. Now, a quick question. So, what do you expect from the Delegators program? What's the outcome for you that you will be happy about?
The main thing for obviously my vision is, as I've explained, so in that sense, I just want to take as much knowledge as I can from CGI and Wonderbear and sort of bring that to the community in an easily accessible way, with tools that help do what they're teaching me, because not everyone is technical, and I think we can't just rely on only technical people to grow NIM to the masses. I think that we need to make it really easily accessible. So like Sven said, CGI, sorry, said earlier, he wants people to use it without realizing they're using it. And so bridging that gap, I think, is the most important thing. And that's where I align with the same things he says. And I just really hope to get as much from him. Having spoken to him, I know he has a wealth of knowledge, and he's very busy building really awesome things for the community. So I'd like to try and steal some of that knowledge and bring that to the wider community.
Looking forward to that. And also, by the way, just some context for the listeners who may not know, Not Just Verify, the group that CGI is from, developed PasteNim, which is a tool similar to cgi-bin, but based on the NIM mixnet. So everything that happens on it is fully anonymous, both in terms of the data that's on it and also the metadata of your communications with the service. So if you want, I think a link to it will be shared in the chat. Check it out. It's really cool. That's just one of the first practical use cases of the mixnet. Now, on that note, by the way, Pawnflake, I think we arrived to the point of our little demo. So I'm going to ask our dear test subject over here, Vesta, how would you describe your level of technical proficiency?
Yeah, interesting question. I have a background in urban planning, and I'd say, even though I take a lot of interest in people who are very technical, I have no background. I've dabbled in a bit of coding, but I wouldn't say I code at all. I like understanding cybersecurity concepts, but I don't code at all. I'm not a programmer. Yeah, it's interesting. We're a different breed, and we do exist within your world. But if I may say so, I want to reference one thing. Before I heard about NIM, I remember I was really impacted by a talk that Harry did at the Web3 Summit called like how blockchain can solve years of standardization failure. It's a really cool talk. And that really inspired me because I really love the craft that a lot of developers have. It is a beautiful craft, software engineering, all of that. But it would be a shame for a lot of this incredible work, particularly around privacy, to be put to waste or to be misappropriated or misunderstood by society and not be put to good use if it's not connected to real people. And so I think there is a role for connectors, a role for people in the middle, but we don't have the bandwidth or the, unfortunately, the time or effort to be learning these things thoroughly. So, it's kind of beautiful that we all are at different parts of the web, but we all have different roles to play, which is why I'm so excited about what Pawnflake is doing here. And, I think it's really great, even with this Delegator program, connecting people, sharing knowledge, and realizing the potential that everyone does have different skills and talents to bring, and that can really evolve the internet to what we want it to be.
How much prepping did you do for this demo?
0.
Okay, cool. All right. So with that, please share your screen. So Proxy will share his screen sitting right next to me, and then Vesta will demo Pawnflake's tool, which is super exciting.
Just a note, Sudo.
Yeah.
I am not sure if I reset this VBS.
You can do that.
Fill the gap with some talk for a minute.
All right. I was not ready for the gap filling talk. So
I mean, I blabbered a little bit.
yeah,
I answered more than your question.
like you already got your fill-in talk from Vesta. You should have really used that.
I have a question for you, Sudo. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. What
I stole Pawnflake, weird thing. I'm just gonna. So the question is like, is there an idea in NIM how many mix nodes would be optimal to have, or like what is the optimal set of available saturated mix nodes? Like, so is there like, I don't know, like
That's a really good question. So one of the big advantages of the NIM mixnet is that it's infinitely scalable. So there's no one answer to this question. It always depends on the amount of use that the mixnet is seeing. I don't even have like a ballpark figure for you. But it's, in general, the more usage you see, the more mix nodes and gateways you need.
So would the active set be growing?
The active set is a parameter that can be changed. So that's one of the ways how the profitability of nodes on the mixed node overall, can be kind of adjusted, and then incentives can be created for more nodes to join or less nodes to join. So right now the active set, yeah, very much so. So right now the active set is 120, right? Or is it 240? 240, yeah. So thank you, sir. The active set right now is 240 nodes, and there's also, by the way, something that we are not currently using, which is the standby set. So There's the overall number of mixed nodes that are online at any time, and then there's an active set who are like the nodes in the active set are selected at random to mix traffic, but they're more likely to be selected if they have higher stake overall. And there's also a standby set, which is not inactive. They can be so. One epoch is the period of time which the active set is selected for. And if in that period of time there's a lot of spiking of traffic, then from the standby set, some additional nodes can be selected.
And one
to handle it.
is, I know the answer how long it is. I just want to see if anyone from the audience want to guess quickly in the chat how long is an epoch.
I think I answered that. No,
Did you? No, you didn't say.
I didn't say it.
Didn't
Okay,
say
so
it.
how long is an epoch,
Hello,
folks?
ladies and gentlemen. Let's see.
Yeah, nice,
Yeah, you won. Super mega.
good stuff. How is the restart going, Pawnflake? I'm running out of blabbering.
I just want to say that Contabo was my choice for getting a VPS for you guys in Germany, and
Yes, so yeah, if you want to run a successful mixed node, it will be my second advice. Don't use Contabo. It's a shitty VPS, that cheapest one, but don't use it if you want to run a mixed node.
If you want to run a high quality mixed node, which is ultimately the goal that everybody should have. So then how is that restart process going?
it's running, but it's not a quick process. I will try to get something in the meantime. Bear with me a moment.
Do you have any other VPSs that we could SSH into?
I do, but they're either already running infrastructure or they're running on SSH keys, and I don't think that that's going to work to send the key over now.
All right, so then I need some more questions from Danielle, which I can blabber on and make the time fly for our dear audience.
Yes. Another question. Is anyone in our audience? Vesna has a question on my computer. It's and any good reading material which anyone has read? A different question I would have had.
That's a good reading material. I've been reading unrelated stuff, so not.
Super technical.
I'm not saying related, like anything.
I'm reading wait, what I don't know the title. It's like basically a workout book, which helps you work out in a way not to get injured, and like it's a really good one. I'm gonna look up the title. That was a really bad piece of info for everybody because there's zero actionability. So you're welcome, everyone.
I prefer the answer of Supermea, the C++ programming language by Ben Sustrup. Is the best book if you have trouble to sleep. I think it's right. Any books on privacy? The readme.txt from Chelsea Manning.
Yes, that's actually a pretty good book. So I would recommend that. Also, if you want the ultimate pinnacle of privacy reading, it's The Age of Surveillance Capitalism by Zuboff. Shoshana Zuboff. It's the Bible of surveillance capitalism, basically, and how our current system works.
I'm reading Helgoland by Carlo Rovelli. It's the strange and beautiful story of quantum physics. And I don't even do physics, but it's cool.
I'm reading also like a very technical book, but not a programming technical book. I'm reading Everything Must Go from James Ladyman, and it's kind of about how all contemporary science is falling to this well of really like a dead end, and we have to really sort of let go of our preconceptions of scientific, like progress and redefine nature and all sciences based on our current understanding of the universe, not like based on something which happened 100 years ago. It's ultra technical, but like in a sense, but also they have this they basically mocking all contemporary scientists.
Which is how we evolve. Like if we were to do things the same way, the same assumptions, then we wouldn't evolve.
And if I can add a book, you could read Surveiller et Punir, It's Discipline and Punish from Foucault with the panoptic. The panopticon concept is like what we have, how the surveillance could be evolved right now. It's a French author and old book, but one of the best in terms of we could be surveyed.
Pawnflake, we're running out of blabber juice.
Time.
I'm just looking at this Contabo screen, pulling my hair out right now.
I don't have any hair to pull out.
But this is a very demo, no? And the live demo is, you remember Elon Musk shooting the glass of the bulletproof car glass? And it was okay. It was just
Yeah, he just dropped like a metal bowl at it though. So
Be sure to check the Pineapple privacy resources shared by Lebec. PN Proxy website have some pretty good and dystopian or dystopian books about privacy and everything.
And
Thanks for sharing it.
I would also recommend another privacy resource. The Lunar DAO wiki also has lots of very good privacy resources, very cool hacks, and also not super technical. So if you're into these discovering new tools and how to use them and what to use, also that's something to check. I can also send a link at one point. Yeah. What is happening on the screen?
Pawnflake status report.
Yeah, Contabo it's not ready.
Is it happening though? People are on the edge of their seats.
I just have to wait for it. Contabo takes a long time to provision hardware. It's
Building excitement.
Yeah, that's a lot of excitement building.
Very, very overly excited. Guys, if anyone's in Prague, do join us tonight in 2 hours. Don't miss this opportunity to hang out together. Third little meetup.
Yeah, actually, maybe a bit on that. Straight after this community call, we're going to get ready for our Pineapple Proxy plus NIM meetup.
Plus
Here we-
Northwest Wi-Fi.
But oh yeah, but that's kind of almost the same thing at this point, no?
No, it's not the same.
Okay, all right. It's not the same thing.
Someone hacked my computer. Who was it? Sorry. The mentor? All right, guys.
Pawnflake, you have about 6 minutes left.
I'm going as fast as I can.
So yeah, I think fundamentally we're trying to do together is escape the matrix, because what we've been discussing, and that's how we want to start the meetup here too, is that we kind of been led into this one-way street of the internet is being too easy to use and too accessible, and these applications being designed super well and making it, not just stealing your money by making you buy things that you don't want to buy, but how by default all our data is not being kept private and it's being monetized by the entire current capitalist industry. So basically, I think this is our collective effort, and that's why we also get together with everyone, that we do in fact try to escape the matrix together. But that requires a lots of not just thinking, coding, building, but also reshaping how we think about how we interact with tools and how do we do stuff online. There's some hand signals being sent across the room here. no,
But
no idea what's happening.
wasn't the whole point of the Matrix the fact that they escaped the Matrix and then outside the Matrix was also the Matrix?
Yeah, well, I think that we're at a huge crossroads where we either go on with what's been going on so far with surveillance capitalism, or we do take a turn right or left, depending on which is your favorite direction, but definitely a turn, and we kind of build a new internet. And in that new internet, we're discussing this a lot amongst ourselves, that you're going to have to a certain small degree, even with zero knowledge technology, they're going to have to trust people. So there's a little bit of matrix, and it's not going to be, ultra permissionless distributed. It cannot. There's going to be a tiny element of trust, but maybe it's going to be if we. There's a lot of photos being taken here at the community call, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I have figured a different VPS that we can hopefully use.
Oh, nice.
I've sent the information to Hux in a DM.
Okay, cool. We're making progress over here, folks.
Yeah, I'm sending it over to West. You got it? Cool. So the demo is happening. We have 6 more minutes. We might overgo by.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Everybody has been waiting for this demo for like 38 minutes. So I think that's the least we can do.
Okay.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Okay, so again, just for the recording, you can start, and there's not much there's no preparation going into this. Pawnflake just sent the SSH login details to Vesta. Was I happy with my credential or not?
Oh, this is a Hungarian keyboard?
Yes, Hungarian
Yes.
keyboard.
Love it. Love the Hungarian. How's that going? Oh,
Yes.
did I use the correct username or?
Pawnflake.
Yes, she just needs to say yes to the new fingerprint.
Oh shit, okay,
Type yes.
yes, okay. Low attention span. Gonna need your password.
No, it's not my password, it's a room password. You also got this. So this is nothing is pre-mediated here. Everything happens online, live on the screen.
Organic, raw.
Raw.
No Vestas were heard during this recording either, just so you guys know.
It's not the real me, it's the simulated version. Oh, okay, hello, okay, cool. All right, so what is next?
And just to note, you have a choice here, obviously, whether you want to create a pseudo user to not use root anymore. If you want to speed things up, you could just say no to that and continue as root. But I would suggest anyone that does, they create a new user, and then as the tool grows and I build it out more, there'll be security added and root user login will be disabled and SSH key generation and a lot more things will come to the script.
So to clarify, I've connected to my server now, and is the next stage now to use your script? And would it be okay to
Yeah, you can just copy and paste from the GitHub and just paste it into your terminal. So you would say no here if for the time being, so you don't have to create a new user.
So for the record, this was a completely fresh, empty VPS, right?
This is not, this is scavenged,
Scavenged.
but it's not, it shouldn't have ran nim. This was for something.
It was supposed to be a completely fresh, empty VPS with only the OS on it.
Yeah, this hasn't been updated, so you can see Contabo takes quite a while, but it's updated now.
Does anyone have any questions or any questions about me? All right, so we want to back it up first.
No, see, this is the problem. Wanted a fresh one because the script recognizes that there's already a NIM infrastructure on here. This is my bad.
Okay, like so if it was a fresh new server, what would my choices be here?
To install or migrate an existing node.
Okay.
Just bear with me 1 second. Ves.
No, that's okay. I think even just to conceptually convey it to people, like I mean, this is fantastic just how quickly this happened.
We can also change the mixnet details, update it and stuff, no?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we? Pawnflake, what do you reckon?
I think that this is not going to work because this is not infrastructure that I've set up correctly. This is just something I was using to test scripts and things. So you can go ahead and try and update the mix node, but I don't think it will work if I'm honest. You can just try if you want.
All right, Bugs.
The only thing that outside of this terminal that I would need to do after I've spun up the mix node would be, what would it be to connect it to my wallet or?
Yeah, I really wish I could show you without this whole broken system. You would run the tool and you would get the option to install. It would install within 1 second. It prompts you for your wallet, but only your wallet. You give it the wallet address and the mix node's installed and running as per the documentation. Then if you wanted, you could run the script again. It will automatically update your node to the latest version, or you can check what your node's doing. You can change the description of your node. You can back up your node. That will allow you to just copy and paste the script into your local terminal, and it will take a backup of all your keys, which you can then send back to a new server and run the script again. And rather than install, you would just select migrate and it would pick that folder up, return it into a running mix node on your new server for you. As simple as that.
That's fantastic.
So then the script, if it was an empty server with nothing done to it, what would have happened? It would just have installed the mix node, spun it up, and it would be ready to go, right?
Yeah, it would just prompt for wallet address, and then the mix node would be spun up and running, ready to bond. It also, if you already have infrastructure that's running this, you can run this tool to update your mix node or back up your mix node. It should figure what you have already and then work with that to help you do whatever it is you need. Re-describe your node, move it, back it up. It should actively work with installations that have already been ran. If you're running on root, for instance, and now you wanted to run this and create a new user, so you're not logging into your server as root, it will pull that from root and move it to your new user when you migrate it.
Really amazing. Actually, this was a true raw technical demo, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully everybody has enjoyed it. And with that, we drive to the end of this beautiful community call. Pawnflake's link to the Explore NIM Bash tool has been shared in the Shipyard Academy lectures. If anybody wants to play around with it, maybe set up a mix node using it, or just update an existing one, make sure to give it a spin. Any final remarks, Pawnflake?
Yeah, if anyone runs into any issues or anything, feel free to message. I'll be working on this with everything I learned from CGI and Wonder Bear to make it better and better and easier to use for everyone. This is there for the community. So as the community, if something is difficult or doesn't work for you, tell me, because the whole point is this is a tool for you.
And I think what's beautiful is that it's beyond accessibility as well. Like the fact that you can make the system more efficient, especially if backing up and migrating is this easy. This is super exciting. Thank you, Pawnflake. Super excited to see more of what you do.
Just as a pre-thing, there will also be monitoring added for the NIM community to the script, so you can get your own. I don't want to leak too much, but you'll have access to your own Grafana dashboards for your node that will also link up to the Explorer. But that's as far as I want to go with what's coming.
Really opening up the design space for the mixed nodes. Cool.
All right, so any closing thoughts from anybody present in this very room here in Prague?
I just want to thank you, Pawnflake, for doing this, because it's fantastic, and I like wholeheartedly enjoy what you're building for all of us. And again, I just wanted to say the same thing what he said, so it's kind of lame to say it again now, but again, encouraging everyone to, to try each other's stuff, to help each other, develop it further. We're all in this together, and yeah, so it's wonderful to see. Yeah, we're not all
We love
developers.
But yeah.
Thanks, Pawnflake.
Thanks for the tools. I think it will help people to back up and monitor, not monitor, but handle their nodes, even if they don't have yet the whole competence for this. So thanks for doing this.
Thank you for your advice as well, CGI, in building this, and I look forward to making it a lot better.
I think that kind of summarizes the whole point of the Delegators program, the sort of mentality that you guys heard here. Hopefully, at least a few future Delegators program participants were also in the audience of this call and got as excited as I was to see this kind of collaboration, which is just the beginning. I have a lot of leaks. I could leak all sorts of stuff about Pawnflake's operations, but all I'm going to say is that a lot more is coming. Stay tuned for that. And also, like I said, hopefully by next Friday, at least the vast majority of participants will be onboarded. So if you applied for the Delegations program, keep an eye on your inbox, the email address that you provided, because we're going to be reaching out to you over there for a quick interview. And yeah, the week after, we can actually get started, which is super duper exciting. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this very strange and very unique NIM community call, which we had from this church over here in Prague. Hopefully the echo was not that audible. Hopefully everybody had as much fun as I had. And unless anybody has some final questions. Oh yeah, the pull-ups. I almost forgot. Mr. J, the pizza man, created pull-ups for this event. So you need, once again, the bot that distributes pull-ups is not working apparently. So you can DM this guy over here, J Pizza Man. He's going to help you out and give you your pull-up for this event. And with that, unless someone has some final remarks or last questions, I'm going to let everybody go and prepare for the upcoming meetup and wish everybody a lovely, amazing weekend. Catch you later.
Bye. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bye, everyone.